Okay, so Orangefield, we're here this morning with Steve and Rosie Kennedy. This is our take two at this interview. We got interrupted by a game of basketball last time round, which was fun. But Steve, Rosie, great to see you guys. Great to have you with us in Orangefield this morning. You're members here, but you've been away serving God elsewhere on a journey into ministry. And yet lockdown has happened as well. Tell us a little bit about your lockdown experience, both you guys.
Yeah, so I suppose like everybody else, lockdown happened very quickly, and in many ways left us very unprepared. For me, mainly that's been big changes in how we've done ministry. I'm sure as you found yourself, Gareth, it's been a lot more time on video calls, on phone calls.
You've been the assistant up until Kilbride, Steve, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, still serving as assistant minister in Kilbride up in Doak. So our pastoral ministry went digital. It went online. It went to pastoral phone calls. Our services, we moved very quickly into web streaming, the same way that Orangefield is. So with our friends of YouTube, and we chose to do our services from the church. Kilbride as a congregation, I think, have a very relational church, so very connected to the physical space of the church. Not hung up on it, but it's a good point of connection, and a good point of connection with people as well. So we web streamed, and we've been pre-recording music, and I think probably the most difficult has been for those people in really particular pastoral difficulties, maybe when it's come to people who have lost loved ones. That has been probably the most difficult parts of pastoral ministry over the last while.
I can totally relate. It's definitely one of the hardest things, being the separation from folk during those difficult times.
Yeah.
Rosie, what about you? What's lockdown looked like for you over the past few months? And what have you been?
It's moved from being school to school at home. And while I work in a school as a classroom assistant, that's always been one-on-one with one particular child. So sort of being in charge of the girls' homework or schoolwork, getting that all organised. Thankfully they've always enjoyed school, and school were very good in the work that they sent. So that was quite easily managed, and they kind of just worked through that.
And what age are the girls, Julia and Lucy? What age are they?
Julia is P7, so she's 11, and Lucy is P5 and is age 9. So they got good stuff from school, so that was quite good. I suppose for me it was quite difficult being a one-on-one classroom assistant, just trying to maintain and establish contact with my child for the period of lockdown, and just how to help and manage in that. That was just quite difficult, because I'm with this wee guy 5 days a week during school, helping him with his work, and just that was quite difficult, just knowing what to do at a distance and how to manage that for him, because anything kind of remote or face like Zoom or something like that just wouldn't really work with him. So
that's very challenging. I can relate to that totally.
Yeah, so that took a wee bit of getting used to, just not having that contact. But then I was able, just with the help of the school, establish contact with his parents. So that was quite good, just to even keep in touch with them and help out a little bit. And yeah, so we were very thankful that we had a garden during lockdown, because the girls could escape out and just release some energy during the day. So we're very appreciative of that, and the fact that Orangefield Park stayed open, and you could get out for a walk, and we saw loads of Orangefield people that we probably haven't seen in a long time, just when we were out and about.
Yeah, I got to see you guys as well. I was out running a few times and bumped into you, so that was
yeah, it was lovely. It was really, really nice, and in a way kind of established a little bit more contact with probably Orangefield in that regard. Cool. So yeah, and we started running, and exercise was a big plus in this house, so that was good for us as well. getting out of it.
Hidden benefits. Hidden benefits.
Hidden benefits, yeah.
So listen, let me ask you, the last time you guys were at a Sunday service that I can remember, Steve, you were preaching in Orangefield.
That's right.
We had you back, and as part of that, you were sharing just your missional call that you guys had last October. You got accepted to go and work and serve God in Cluj in Romania. Or actually, before that, you were meant to go. You were missioned to go from October, and then lockdown happened. You were meant to get ordained in June and maybe even be away at this stage already, and yet you're sitting in Belfast talking to me in a Zoom call. What's happened there? What's going to be happening? Is it completely off the table, or is it going to happen, or where are we?
So, yeah, you're right. When we were with you in October, I think we just received our calls from the Council for Global Mission. And the idea at that stage was that we would be continuing in our current employment through the date was originally the 10th of May. And then I would finish up as assistant in Kilbride. Rosie would finish up in the school. We would have about 3 months of preparation and orientation. And then we would head for Cluj at the end of July. Obviously, coronavirus was something that was thoroughly unforeseen for any of us. So the conversation at the moment is it's all still on the table. It's all still happening. Our calls are still in place. We are all still heading for Romania, but the timescale has moved. So we're now looking towards relocating in January. Okay. So same ministry, same place, same church. Under the auspices of the PCI, just a little bit of a delay in the time scale. So I suppose that in a way has pulled everything back a little bit. So I've remained at Kilbride. I'm still there and will be through till the 31st of July. And then we'll move over to be candidates with the Council for Global Mission. Service of ordination, induction and commissioning, I think, is all the bits that they're going to do to us. Will now be January, all being well, rather than having happened in June. So yeah, it's a bit of a delay. It's not what we wanted. We would rather be there. It's already been a long enough process. But at the same time, I think we have a peace about it. Lockdown happened so quickly, and an important part about us relocating is being able to say farewells and being able to leave well. And I think the nature of lockdown happening so quickly, we were pulled out of so many things. The kids' activities finished, GB finished, CE finished, just everything happened so quickly. We really didn't have an opportunity to say those farewells. So I think we're hoping over this longer period and this delay that we'll be able to do that well.
Wonderful, wonderful. But listen, you're about then for a few months, getting ready, getting prepared. Hopefully, we'll get to see you guys when church opens up again. That'll be great. Maybe in the autumn time. How can we be praying for you? We'll be talking to you again before you leave. Hopefully, a few times as a congregation. But how can we be praying for you as a family as you journey the next 6 months out to Cluj?
Go ahead, you shout first.
And just and kind of related to that, we had a visit out to Cluj in February, and that was to establish what getting a house would look like. How did we go about that? Checking about the schooling situation and getting the girls enrolled in a school. And I suppose when I think of things to pray for, I've been so thankful to be able to look back on that visit. It was half-term week in February, because it was filled with confirmation upon confirmation that God was with us in this journey to Cluj, to Romania. We found a house in that week. We got the girls there were 2 schools that they could have chosen. Both girls liked the one school. We had great meetings up with people in church because everyone was still around because it wasn't their holiday. So we just had so many confirmations and reassurance in that week that really have held me fast through lockdown and the many kind of uncertainties that have come out of it. I've just been able to look back and thank God just that he does know where we're going and has a place for us and a job for us. And that's been tremendously reassuring in spite of everything that's going on. So, and that was very good for the girls because, we were they're still able to think about the house as the one that we saw as the one that we're going to live in, and they're still excited about school. And even though that's been put on hold, so that would be one of my, I think, just to praise and thank God for that week.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, very much so, and even the flexibility of the landlord and the school to cope with our delay as well has been a real encouragement. So, I suppose a few things moving forward. I'm now into my last month in Kilbride as assistant minister. I'm keen that I finish well. I've been, as with all other PCI licentiates, I've been on furlough for the last 3 weeks, so I'm only just back in again from yesterday with sort of a month to go, and I'm just really keen to finish well in relationships and connections. And Gareth, the minister there, will be taking some holidays, so I'll be doing some preaching across July. So we just hope that'll be a good way to finish, and that'll be able to finish well. So if you could pray for that, that would be great. The girls are now going to be starting back into school in Northern Ireland, where we'd originally thought they wouldn't be. And in particular for Julia, who's coming to the end of P7, she's now going to be starting into a term of grammar school here in Northern Ireland, rather than simply starting secondary level education in Cluj. So they're both excited. They're both excited about getting back to school. They both enjoy school. But we are aware that there's going to come a point in time then partway through a school year where they're going to have to say their goodbyes. So if you could just pray for them about how they engage in their friendships and their relationships. Julia starting into year 8 of Grosvenor Grammar, and just how she learns how to engage in friendships and relationships, and in what depth, and how to manage all those kind of things. Really from the 1st of August, it'll be our time of preparation and orientation. So we'll be doing some work hopefully to our house. We'd like to rent that out whenever we head overseas. We are going to be spending a fair bit of time on Hungarian. Hungarian language first, that's the church we're going to be working with. We believe the 4th hardest language for a native English speaker to learn. So a lot of Hungarian. We're also going to have to try and pick up some Romanian along the way as well. So language skills.
The Hungarian Reformed Church have a saying. They say Hungarian is the language of heaven, because it takes an eternity to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
heard that before.
Yeah, so it's that's quite daunting. There's no doubt about that, about the language skills. And I think there'll be some theological preparation and just getting our own hearts ready across a period of 6 months, that we're in a good frame whenever we hit Cluj and really ready to start in ministry. We've had some great prayer meetings and video calls with people in the ministry there, and those have been really affirming and encouraging as well. So, I suppose pray for the church out there as well. Toka's Reformed Church that we'll be going and working with, and PCI already have missionaries out there, Chuba and Alona Veresh, and just continue to pray for them. Romania has been mercifully quite low on coronavirus cases, which has been really a real blessing, because I think Romania would largely be known as having one of the poorest healthcare systems in Europe. So they really wouldn't have had the capacity to cope. So there's been a great sense, I think, of God's protection and blessing there. But just continue to pray for the church and for the city out there, and for Chuba and Alona, for all the preparations that are going on for us arriving.
It's been wonderful to have you with us this morning, and we will absolutely be praying for you. We'll get you back in the autumn time to share some more of your journey, and hopefully maybe praying that will be physical and not just over a Zoom call, which will be great. But yeah, listen, keep in touch with us, and we'll keep in touch with you, and I assure you of our prayers and support going forward. Listen, take care, guys. Thank you. Bless you.
Thanks so much. God bless.